friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Lori. I am the creator behind Stitch and Moan. I specialize in cute and creepy crochet plushies. If you are a returning friend, thank you so much for coming back to hang out with me. And let's get into it. Okay, it is Monday. March 30th, I think. I have no idea. But anyway, it's Monday. My husband and my son went fishing, and I've got the morning to myself, which is very good because I realized this morning I've taken 4 of the last 5 days off, and we are in market prep mode, so that's not the best use of my time. My hands appreciate it, but like I need to get down to it. I don't have like a lot of things that I need to do, but because I homeschool during the day, that takes up a lot of my day. And tomorrow we are going on a field trip, so I won't be crocheting probably any tomorrow. So, you know, tomorrow's going to be another day off. So I've really got to use my morning wisely, which I know I won't do. I have a ton of things that I want to do, and I'm trying to not go overboard and I'm going to try to be realistic, but historically that has never happened with me. I try to cram in 8,000 things into any like quiet time that I have because it happens so rarely. So we're going to see what we can do today. But as far as what I'm hoping to get accomplished on Monday, I need to get my voodoo dolls from my Etsy order packed up and shipped out. I plan on going to the post office today. Otherwise, I am not leaving this house. So I need to finish just a few little things on those, get those boxed up, and then get those to the post office. But that's going to be like an afternoon Lori task, I think. And I need to film the packing footage for something else I'm doing. So you might have seen, by the time this goes live, you might have seen like a small mini vlog. I don't know if I'm going to get to that today or not, but I'm hoping. But anyway, so we've got to package up the voodoo dolls and get those shipped out and hopefully film that footage for something. And then I need to paint some safety eyes for my gargoyle that I will be finishing. This is another thing that I want to do later in the week. But I just want to do the eyes today. Just get those painted so I can work on these later. And in a previous video, I was worried that I accidentally tucked his other horn into his head. I found it this morning when I was straightening up my crochet room. So I'm trying, okay. I don't know if so here are his little horns, and then he has little ears that I've already made. And then he needs wings, which I didn't have any dark gray yarn, but I went to Michael's the other day, the one that I hate, but they've totally redeemed themselves for the most part. They did have a huge amount of yarn that I had never seen before, lots of colors of demi pearl, which I love that yarn, but it wasn't really what I was needing at the time. Although I did get a skein of, I think it's called White Cap Gray. It's like a beigey off-white color, because I'm going to try making voodoo dolls with that. If you watched my last vlog, I really need to get away from Bernat, but that is the most accessible to me right now. So that kind of stinks, but it kills my hands. Voodoo dolls are my best seller, so I'm going to try this other yarn and just see how it works. We'll just see. And then if that's not going to work, then we might have to try Premiere, but I don't know. I really don't want to have to order yarn. But anyway, so completely off task. What I want to do today, mail out the voodoo dolls, paint some safety eyes for the gargoyles, and then work on Patricia from Just a Mom Crocheting. I want to have some of these at my market. I have never had possums at my markets, so I'm very excited to have this. going back and forth on whether or not I want to do weighted bodies, but I'm not sure. I'm going to make one and see what happens. I mentioned it last week in my little mini vlog, and I have a foot made, a leg and a foot, and I love the little toes on these. So I'm using Posh because it is easier on my hands. So we are going to get started on something. I might go ahead and do the eyes so they can start drying. I'm not sure. But, you know, it's a nice day outside. Got the house to myself for a little bit. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do with myself. So, yeah, I'm going to figure out what to do, and I will come back when I have something done. But it's going to be a good week. We're going to work on the gargoyles later in the week. I want to work on maybe one big plushie this week, and I'm thinking it might be my tiny pattern because I found that Big Twist. I don't even remember. Hang on. I found this that everybody was loving, the fluff, and I'm going to make tiny out of this, the green. I think that'll be cool. Hopefully I can get away with it with one skein. And this says to use a 15mm hook, which we're not going to do. I have an 8 and I have an 11. So we'll just see. Anyway. But the Michaels that I hate had that. They had a ton of different colors of it. So I was like shocked that they actually had yarn in their store. But anyway, so let's just get to work and see what we can knock out. It's Friday and we don't have school today because we are actually going with the district calendar. We've already had friends over wanting us to come play, so we are just going with that today. So, checking into the week, and wrap this vlog up. I'm kind of starting to panic a little bit. We've got 3 weeks tomorrow until my next market, and I still have a lot of work to do. Not really, but most of the things, I'm looking at my list right now, most of the things are going to be just like bigger items that I'm only making one of. So according to my list, I only have 18 things to make. That does not count the gargoyles that I made. I've got one made and sewed all of his pieces on, and he looks a little crooked, but I might have to tweak him a little bit. But this is Gustav, the gargoyle from Mythic Phoenix. He is so cute. All of his pieces make up pretty quick. It's just the sewing. There is a lot of sewing. The horns, the ears, the mouth, the tail, and the wings all have to be sewn on. But each piece makes up pretty quick. The wings are a little not involved, but it's a neat method of doing it. And I think they turned out really cute. I loved him when I first saw him, so I had to have him. And then these are just like regular safety eyes that I did with I painted them with like silverish, like this dark silver paint. And then I have one of him made, and then I've got 3 bodies, 3 sets of ears, and 3 tails made. And for the rest of them, I painted the eyes. It's really cool, like red, like really big red flakes. And then the background, I did like a black glitter. So I was working on those today. I wanted to have all 4 of them made today, but my goal was to make them yesterday and then do all the sewing today, and that didn't happen. So I can't look at any more like little sewing pieces right now. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to make anything, but I'll do all of the sewing and the detail work. So I'll do that. Haven't had one of those days in a while, so hopefully I have one soon, because I also have a whole bunch of crows on my desk that need to be sewn up. wings everywhere still. But anyway, so I've got the one gargoyle finished, and then I'm going to have 3 more. I need to make horns and wings for him, and then he's dead. But that's not going to happen today. I need to move on to something bigger. And then earlier in the week, I was doing the Patricia, the possum little palm pal. And I can't remember how far along I was, but I finished one in Posh. And I was afraid that she was going to be too tiny because, like, she's small. So I made one in Bernat. This is Bernat with a 6.5 millimeter hook, 2 pipe cleaners in her tail to make it curve. That's called a prehensile tail, by the way. Ask my son about it. He'll tell you exactly what it is. But she turned out so cute, and this is a really good pattern. I did struggle with it, but that's just the way my brain is. The way that it's written. This is a no-sew pattern, so everything is crocheted in. And when you crochet the head onto the body, you crochet the head onto the front part of it. How is it? Let's see. You do the front, and then you go around the head, and then you go around the back of the body. But I was not reading it that way. I was reading it that you just continued around, and it was not lining up. I don't know if any of my stitch counts lined up on making these, either one of them. So I really need to practice on her some more. I might make one more small one and just have the 3. I don't know. It wasn't very time consuming. It was just, for some reason, making the legs is just like wildly daunting to me. Not any of the other part. Like, not these rows and rows of 4 single crochets down here at the bottom. But the legs, which are like so tiny and nothing. The feet didn't bother me. None of it did. But for some reason, I just do not like making those legs. Maybe since I have a better understanding of the pattern, maybe if I did it again, it would work. But anyway, so I've got these 2. And as far as like what I've made this week, that's it. But it is a lot. I mean, I've got 3 little gargoyle bodies and a bunches of ears. I had these all organized, and tails. So I just got everything all out of whack. But anyway, that's what I have for this week. Again, it wasn't a lot, but we had our field trip on Tuesday. We were gone all day, and then Wednesday, I don't think I really was able to do much of anything. I wanted to finish the possums on Monday and then work on the gargoyles on Thursday and then sew them all up today, but that didn't work. So I need to figure out what big project I want to start working on now. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but we're going to figure that out here in a few minutes. I wanted to have like an ice dragon to go along with the fire dragon, and then I wanted to do a white unicorn with probably like pink or purple hooves and pink and blue and purple hair. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. They are enjoyable to make. I just want to make sure that I don't have like too many splooting animals there, because I think there will be like 4 other crocheters there. And I definitely want to make sure that we all don't have the same thing. So, to figure that one out. But I'm going to figure out what to make next, because it's only 1:30. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap the vlog up here, and then maybe get started on next week's, because I have a lot to do. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to figure out what to do next. And I will see you guys next week with another market prepping vlog. I think I know what I'm going to start on. I think I know what I'm going to do. And that's going to be next week's vlog. Yeah, let's do that. So next week, I just now decided this. Next week, we are going to be doing a pattern out of this book. which I got for Christmas. We are going to be doing the classic alien, because I think that would be fun. And we are going to be doing that with Walmart yarn that I have never used before. So it's going to be a new pattern with a new yarn. So that should be super exciting. But I think we're going to get started on that, and that's going to be next week's video. So if you have hung around this long, thank you so much for sticking around with me and hanging out and market prepping. I don't really like doing little batch things. I get bored with it like I did today. So we have to wrap this up and move on to another project. Because my brain's like screaming at me like, do something else. So we're going to go do something else now. Come back next week for that. And I'm also going to show you how to make a safety eye tool that I used on this. If you follow Crojo Mojo, it's the one that she shows you how to make on her website or on her Instagram. So I looked up one of those yesterday. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I hope you come back next week. We have got lots more market prepping and market vlogs coming up. I have another market next month, and then I signed up for one in October, which we'll get to that. Very excited about it. So, and we're also going to be trying a new setup for this first market this month. So come back and we will work through that together. So see you next week.